What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I've kind of mulled around how to go about talking about this topic, or if I should even bother covering it, because ultimately it's just going to bring haters and people that are just pissed at life in their mom's basement to this video and try to turn it into something it's not. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I'm not going to let that stop me from speaking my mind. It never has, so why would I let it stop me now? But I've canceled my Patreon and I'm in a much better place in life right now. So I guess, one, I wanted to make a video to say thank you to everyone who has ever contributed to it. But two, I would say equally important, why I don't have an issue with Patreon still. JT. I started my YouTube channel about 3.5, going on 3.5, 4 years ago, I think. God, time flies. And I picked up an audience around after, I'd say, 1.5 years, 2 years of doing this. I started gaining subscribers when I started talking drama and leaving the realm of just generic retro video game talk, which wasn't necessarily my comfort zone, but I enjoyed doing it. So I was like, okay, I enjoy this. People enjoy it. So, I mean, why not? It kind of got away from the purpose of my channel that was initially set out for. But I mean, here's some real talk for you. I lost my job. I used to work at Qualcomm. I lost my job. I was unemployed. I really liked video games. I used to work in the game industry, and I looked at YouTube as a way to maybe get that back in my life somehow, to just rekindle that love for gaming. After I got married and had kids and couldn't fit it in my life anymore, I was like, I could use YouTube as an excuse to do that. And maybe with enough hard work and luck, a lot of luck, maybe I could make a little bit of money off of this and turn my hobby into, I don't want to say a business because that always sounds dirty, but something that could at least assist me living financially. And it wasn't happening. Like, it wasn't. I've spoken to a lot of more prominent YouTubers who have told me time and time again that they love my stuff. They love my confidence. They love how I make my videos. I just missed the boat. I missed it by like 6 months. Like I hate to bring up specific names, but I mean, the Screenwave Media group really got chugging along and got picked up by the YouTube algorithm and helped each other out. And I had the opportunity at one point in time to go with that, but it wasn't me. I didn't want to use people to get somewhere in life. I wanted to prove that I could do it on my own. But YouTube has taught me that that's impossible. Like, outside of the exceptions to the rule, like the Scott the Waz's out there and things like that, you have to know someone, you have to have an in. And after I burned the bridges with a bunch of people because I spoke my mind and felt like that's what YouTube was, as a place to speak your mind about things, I quickly learned that might be okay and it might gain you a strong following, but it's typically a smaller following because most people already have their, I hate to say the word allegiances to these bigger channels, but they do. And if you talk bad about them, no matter how true you might be or how on point you might be, it doesn't matter because they already have pledged allegiance to these channels and you can't talk smack about them because they enjoy them. Which, I mean, that's loyalty. You can't buy loyalty. You can just manipulate people to it. I don't know. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but back to the point of the Patreon situation. So I started picking up my following and I got around, what was it? I don't remember, 10,000 subscribers, something like that. And I started Patreon. Maybe I even started before that, maybe at like 5,000 or 7,000. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I opened the Patreon and it was a roaring success. I mean, I had a lot of people wanted to support me. It kind of blew me away. Like when I first started Patreon, I was getting, I think, over $150 a month or something, just from Patreon, not including the YouTube AdSense and stuff like that. Like all told, I think I was clearing monthly, I would say, I mean, it ranged wildly because of the AdSense and my video hits and things like that, but somewhere between $300 to $500 a month, which is great. I'd never say no to that. But in Southern California, that's not going to cut it. Like maybe if I was living in the middle of like Arkansas or something, or I don't know, I could maybe make do with that in a much more frugal lifestyle. But California doesn't afford that, and I love it here too much. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to cut it for me. I need to start looking for a job and making some actual money elsewhere, because I can't keep doing this. I was pounding my head into the ground. I was doing fully edited videos. I was doing live streams. I was doing off the cuff videos. I was covering drama. I was covering video games. I was, as far as I understand, doing as good as I could do in the position I was, and it still wasn't working. I fortunately got a job opportunity that is fantastic. I'm super happy in it. And honestly, things have never been better in my life. But the YouTube thing kind of, I don't want to say fell by the wayside, but it wasn't a top priority anymore. I found out that I could actually play video games in my spare time and not have to make videos to have video games in my life. And I mean, it's been a roller coaster, because I really enjoy having a platform when there is something that I have on my mind that I want to talk about, to be able to just load up my phone, make a video, and tell people and say, hey, this is how I feel about this. That's powerful stuff. And you can't, well, I guess you could buy that, but you can't buy the trust of people. And that's what I really liked about YouTube, is I could have an audience. People trusted what I had to say and believed in me, and would call me out if they felt like they thought I was going off my rocker. It was a good balance. But the problem is, I run into these haters, I guess you want to say. I don't know. They'll never call themselves haters, but people that call it the e-begging community, things like that. I don't have a problem. I've said it multiple times, with people making money off of this. If you can make money off of YouTube, have at it. Like I don't see why there's such a why it's so taboo. I've never understood that. Like this is something that if you can create a loyal viewer base and make them want to give you money for talking about stuff, that's great. And the people that seem to be against that are always the people that can't seem to get their channel off the ground themselves. So it's almost, I don't want to say a jealousy thing, but it's almost like a bitterness towards other people's success. And they use their failure as a way to spin the argument in their favor and say, oh, these people are bad for doing that. I don't believe that. And I feel like that should mean more coming from me now that I'm canceling my Patreon and telling people, hey, I am not taking money from Patreon anymore. So I still am okay with other people doing that, but for me, it wasn't working. The problem that I wanted to get to with all this is the haters. What they don't understand, getting mad at people making money off of YouTube, is it's a lot of work. It is. I know people make fun of like RGT for rolling out of bed and just looking up what Kotaku said and making a video, or loading up the eShop and telling people what's on sale. But it's still work. It's a grind. I would almost say, in his position, that's I don't think that's what he signed up for when he started YouTube. I really don't. At least I hope not. That's fucking depressing. Like, if he were to start his YouTube channel and then say it would kind of just degrade into just talking about what's on sale and what's going on lately with Nintendo news, I think back when he started his channel, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he would have said, I don't want to do that. But now that he's grown his base and he's learned the algorithm, how to do it, he's realized that's the source of income and functionality on YouTube. And if he doesn't keep doing that, then his channel will flounder, which is kind of a much greater problem with the entire YouTube platform. Is it's kind of created this mantra of, you need to cover a specific topic for the algorithm to promote you. And when the algorithm promotes you, you'll thus gain subscribers, get ad revenue, gain new Patreons, and grow your viewership base and people, your popularity, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just saying RGT, but I mean, there's a ton of them, like Spawn Wave covering the news every day. Like that's what he set out doing. So yeah, he's probably fine with doing that. But I think there's people out there that have created their channels and had them go in a different direction just to be making money on the platform instead of actually covering what they want to cover, which is the great dichotomy. Because like, going back to the haters of Patreon, if my Patreon was super successful, and if I had someone on Twitter today say like, oh, if you were making 30 grand off of your Patreon, you wouldn't have canceled it. It's like, well, if I was making 30 grand a month off my Patreon, I'd probably be making more YouTube videos, being way more engaged with my audience, and there'd probably be a reason for me making that much off of Patreon. So I don't think some people understand that there's a connection between like the work that you put into it. You need to have a payoff for it. And if it's not there, the creators are going to disappear. They're going to go away. If you do not support the people you like, they will eventually leave if the algorithm does not go in their favor. There's so many issues with the way the platform is set up. The ground is so unstable. It's not what YouTube was meant to be anymore, where you could just make videos like this and just speak your mind and grow your channel. Like, nobody's going to care about this outside of my audience. I already know that. Back when I first started YouTube, I would think, oh, maybe this video will have a chance to blow up. It's like, no, I've learned the algorithm like the back of my hand. Like there are circles within circles of the algorithm that it keeps you contained in. And unless there's some sort of weird, I don't want to say glitch, but if there's something that happens that busts you out of one of those circles, it will then go into a bigger circle, but you're still trapped in that circle with your video. It doesn't reach the masses like it used to. It's all computer controlled, AI algorithm based that controls exactly who is successful and who is not. Which is kind of going off track, but back to the point of why I'm canceling Patreon. It's like I don't want to have the handcuffs of feeling like I owe a video just because people are tipping me every month. I want to make a video if there's something to talk about. That's because my life is busy enough as it is right now, where I can't go back to, at least at this point, daily videos focusing on keeping up with all the latest trends and what's going on and my thoughts on video games and things like that. There's too much going on in my life. I got a family, I got a day job. I'm trying to stay in shape. There's a lot going on. But it's funny in a weird way too, because I always hoped to be able to make money off of YouTube. And in a weird way, I did, but it's not how I would have thought I would have made the money. Like, I thought it would have been by busting my ass, making these videos, growing my audience, growing my subscriber base, growing my Patreons, growing the views, getting more AdSense, and multiplying from that. And the reality was, it was more investing in GameStop. And I, in a weird way, I think I say this in the documentary too, like I have to thank YouTube for that, because I invested in GameStop, made a video on it, and held true to that promise of me investing in that, and held myself accountable to the investment, where I wanted my viewers to know that I was committed to what I said I was going to be doing. And without that, I probably would have sold GameStop off a hell of a lot sooner. But because of the YouTube video, I wanted to use the situation as a way to keep my audience informed, hold myself accountable for the investment. And in a weird way, it worked out, because it just kept going up. And I'm like, this is crazy. Only an insane person would keep holding it through $100, $150, $200, $250. Like, that's insanity. And then selling it when I bought it for $4, and then selling a lot of the shares, not all of them, but a lot of the shares when it hit the 350, 400, 450 mark. It was insanity. And in a weird way, like I said, that's how I made a lot of money off of YouTube, more money than I could have ever imagined. And it had nothing to do with Patreon, AdSense, viewers, anything. It was a completely off the wall bonkers situation that nobody could have ever predicted. I guess what I'm getting at with all this is, like, believe in yourself, believe in what you truly genuinely care about, and ignore the hate. Ignore the haters. Like, if I listened to the haters, I first off, I would have never bought GameStop. But I definitely would have sold as soon as possible, because everybody was saying, you're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose your shirt. When it got to $25, $30, $35, $40, everyone was saying, sell, sell, sell. And I guess that's what I'm getting at. It's just, if you can hold true to yourself through thick and thin, there's no telling where the world's going to take you. But don't listen to other people. Let them make their own decisions. And maybe it might work out for you. I don't know. It might not. Life is so unpredictable. It's so weird. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling here. I wanted to get it all out because I've had a tremendous amount of videos from haters about me in particular, for some reason, having a Patreon. And a part of me wanted to keep the Patreon just to keep pissing them off. But I thought better of that. I'm like, that's no reason to have a Patreon. I wanted to do it because I was making videos and because I needed the money. And it's like, I don't need the money now. I don't. And I never thought, 2 years removed from being unemployed for 3 years, and my channel stagnating, that I would be in a position where I could say, I don't need the money, but I don't. And I hope that everybody is able to get to this point at some time in their life. And I hope, for me, my own purposes, I hope I'm able to sustain it. Because when it comes to money, it's easy come, easy go. It's a different kind of stress. But yeah, I'm going to leave the video right there. I just wanted to keep you guys posted on where I'm at, where my thoughts are. Just have an honest talk with you. It's been a while since my last video. I don't know when my next video is going to be. It could be later today. It might be a month from now. I don't know. If there's something that catches my mind, that catches my interest that I want to talk about, I'll do it. And I guess that's as good a place as any that I could be in. Again, though, thank you everyone who's ever supported the channel, even if it was through a live stream donation or anything, a Patreon, a letter, a game you sent me. Like, people on this platform, for as much crap as I give the haters, there are so many genuinely great human beings that use YouTube, and thank you, because you guys are so important to keep people's motivation up, that are really trying to make this work. I'm going to leave the video right there. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.